Hey TK, happy fun Friday. I hope everyone had a wonderful week and that you are looking forward to the weekend and to our classes today and our Zoom calls. I know I am. Let's start today off with reading. Today we're going to continue working on our journals, but we're adding another little element to them today before we get to really exciting stuff next week. So let's go over our objective and we'll get right into what we're doing. Objective is what we are going to learn. I can use labels and an I statement to tell my story. So we are still working on our journals and we're going to the next page of our journals. So let me turn my page here. Still got it on my rocket ship page. And it still looks like this. So it still looks the same as what we've been working on this week, and we're still really focused on our labels. But if you look at what we're going to be doing next week, so you do have one extra page or a couple extra pages of your journals that just have your checklist. But if we move forward here, next week we have a lot more lines that we're going to be able to work on. That's because next week we're going to start writing some sentences. But there are a few things that we need to talk about before we start writing sentences. First of all, what is a sentence? Well, we've talked about this before, and we know that we use a sentence to give information. And a sentence is made up of words. And words are made up of letters. So if we look at our sentence here, that's our objective, I can use labels and an I statement to tell my story. That's a lot of words. And you'll notice like the word my here, my. My has two letters in it, M-Y. And when I read it all together, it makes a word, my. So that is an example of a word. And when we write a sentence, we use lots of words with finger spaces in between them to tell somebody something. This sentence was telling you what our objective is. Now today, along with doing your labels, I want you to write a two-word sentence, just 2 words. And those words are going to be I. So the word I is also just a letter. I, which means like I, me. And then what you're doing. So let's say in my journal, I draw myself playing. Then my sentence would be I play. And the key thing here is that you're telling me who, yourself, and you're telling me what you're doing. So your labels are going to really kind of explain all the things in your picture, but before we know how to write all those things, just give me one little bit that you can write. Tell me who and tell me what you're doing. So if I draw a picture of myself, maybe swimming, then I would write I swim. And I would need to sound out swim. S. I know it starts with an S. Sw. W. 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 I. 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 I swim. So that's a little sentence there. And it tells you who did what. I swim. I'll show you with my journal, and I'll explain it more as I do it. All right, so I'm going to get started here with my picture. And I think that I am going to draw about what I like to do outside. And one of the things that I like to do is jump rope. So I'm going to draw me. I've got hair in a ponytail here. Gonna draw my details, my face, eyes, nose, smile. And I like to go outside when it's sunny, so I'm gonna wear a t-shirt and some shorts. And when I'm jumping, I'm gonna put my legs up in the air and gonna have my arms out holding on to a jump rope. And a jump rope kind of has 2 handles. And it kind of goes above your head like that. And I'm going to make it look like it's kind of moving. There we go. And now I'm going to add some details to my setting. Just like we talked about, I'm going to be doing labels to kind of show more things in my picture than what I write about. So I need to give kind of a context of where I am. Kind of some information so that you know when you're looking at the picture. So I'm outside. You can kind of see some trees. I'm going to draw some bushes because in my yard I have some bushes. Maybe I'll draw my dog because he likes to come outside when I'm outside. He doesn't like to stay inside by himself. So he's going to sit here and watch me. Gonna give him his whiskers, his paws, his little tail. There we go. So now I'm ready to color. All right, so I just finished coloring my picture, so now I can cross out sketch and I can cross out color. So now it's time for me to add labels and do some writing. So, ooh, almost fell down. All right, let me get my black crayon out so I can add some labels. So the first thing I'm gonna label is me. I drew myself in this picture. Now, you could draw another character. I could have drawn maybe like my brother, and then instead of writing what I do, I would write his name and what he's doing in the picture. But I decided to draw me. I'm gonna label Jasper. I'm gonna label what I see around me. So a T for tree, a B for bushes, G for grass, an S for the sun, and an S for the sky, a J for jump rope. So that's really all my labels. Now it's time for me to think about that 2-word sentence that I told you about. So who and what are they doing? Now the who in this picture is me. Now I wouldn't say me jumps because that's not how you say things. You don't say me do this. You would say I do this. So when we're writing, we want to think about how we would tell the story. Last week we practiced telling the story out loud. So when you're thinking about what you want to write, that's how you want to think about it too. How would I say this out loud? I would say, I jump. So that's how I'm going to write it. When I start a sentence, I always use a capital. Remember, capital means uppercase. So I'm not going to use lowercase I because this is the very beginning of my sentence. I always want to start it proud, loud and proud with a capital letter. So I'm going to use my capital I. And then I need to make sure that I have some finger space. So I'm going to do about 2 fingers, and that's where I'm going to start my next word here. And what am I doing in this picture? I said that I'm jumping. So I'm going to write I jump. Remember, we're just doing about 2 words, not a big long sentence, just a little bit to practice. Now I don't need to do jump capital because it's not the beginning. The beginning was I. My next word is jump. And since it's following I, it doesn't need to be so loud and proud. So I'm going to use lowercase. A lowercase J, J, J. Now let me sound out the next sound. J, Letter U. Letter U says the sound. That's letter M. P, P. That's letter P. Now, I want everyone to know who's reading this that that's the end of my sentence. It's all finished. So I have to make something called a period. And that is a little dot that goes on the end of the sentence that tells you it's all done. And now when I read it, I know this is the beginning because I have my capital I jump. And my period says, stop there. Don't go any further. So that is my journal entry for today. I have my picture, I have my labels that tell you what's going on, and I have 2 words that you can read, a little mini sentence to tell you even more. And that's what you guys are going to do today. So your sentence should be who and what. Who's in your picture and what are they doing? And that's it. So get ready for next week for even more writing. I'm so proud of how amazing you guys are doing with your writer's workshop and your journals. And I can't wait to see what you turn in today. Have an awesome weekend.